Hi lovely people, and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my baby's sleep routine, if you want to call it a routine. Just basically what I did with Evie, and if it helps you and your baby, then that's the main aim basically. I would love to be able to help people with this video. If it doesn't, don't worry, just try something else. It's not going to work for everybody. My little girl Evie is nearly 11 months old now. She has always been a good sleeper. However, I believe that's down to how we started it off with her in the beginning. So I'm just going to talk you through what we did with Evie, and hopefully it works for you guys. Evie has always self-soothed. Even when I would hold her, she would always self-soothe. I think you have to let your baby self-soothe, because if you don't, if you always pick them up when they're trying to self-soothe, it's interrupting their natural sleep habit. That is instinctively what they are doing to help themselves to sleep. I think you know, I had to get my head around that basically. When Evie was very little, I was like, oh, why is she doing this, you know? And then she did it while she was in my arms one day, and I just thought, oh, she's just trying to put herself off to sleep, bless her little heart. So when she would do that while she was in her cot, I consciously wouldn't pick her up because I didn't want to interrupt her instinctive sleep pattern. Sleep technique. So when she was very tiny, she would sleep in the Moses basket right at the side of my bed, so I'd be able to see her from where my head was, just look over and I could see her in the Moses basket, which was lovely. It was almost like co-sleeping, but she wasn't in the bed. And I used to tuck her in, so I'd have the sheets and blankets for her, and I'd tuck her in all nice and snug, with her arms in as well, and I'd read her a little bedtime story, and she'd always just drift off and close her eyes and go to sleep. I never forced a sleep on her. I never forced a bedtime on her. I never have, because I think I've always wanted her to kind of set her own pattern, her own sleep pattern, her own routine. So I would never have forced a sleep time on her, if you like. It's like someone saying to you, right, go on, you've got to go to bed now at 7 o'clock in the evening, and you're nowhere near tired. It's like, well, I'm just going to lay there for ages, and you know, what's the point in that? I'm going to get angry, and I'm going to get groggy, and I'm going to just start shouting at you because I don't want to go to bed. So I never did that with Evie. She set her own little sleep routine. I knew the early signs of when she was getting tired. She gets a little red nose. On the tip of her nose it goes red, so I know that that's her sleepy time. And now she's in bed between 7:30 or 8:30 in the evening, and she wakes up around about 8 o'clock in the morning, sleeps right through, and that's her little pattern, her own little sleep pattern that she does. So in the very early days, I would try to do all of the musical things, and you know, the lights and things like that, to try to get her off to sleep, you know, the soothers as they call them. But I found that they would just distract her. So I took away anything that would distract her from sleeping, and from then on she slept really, really well. I even had a mobile that I was going to make it myself, and I got rid of it in the end because I thought, no, I don't want anything to distract her from sleeping. And it's worked really well. No distractions, just a soft light in the room. I'd put the landing light on and have the door ajar a little bit, and then I'd be able to see her still, and it was just a soft enough light for her to just drift off to sleep. When she'd wake in the early hours of the morning for her feed, I'd always take her out of our room and take her into the nursery. I've got there's a sofa in there, so I'd sit on the sofa with her, with the soft lighting, and feed her a bottle, so she knew that she was coming away from her sleep room. That was her feed time. And then when we went back into our bedroom and she went into her cot, she'd know, okay, this is sleep time again. I'd always leave it around 20 minutes after feeding her though, because I was worried about reflux or anything like that. So after every bottle, I'd prop her up slightly while feeding her a bottle. That's a whole other story, which I won't go into today. Excuse me, but yeah, I'd sort of sit her up a bit for 20 minutes after her bottle, and then put her back down in her cot. If she grumbles or anything in the night, I'd just gently place my hand on her tummy, and that would tend to soothe her and settle her down. Obviously, if she started crying and wailing, I would pick her up, because that's her call to mummy. You know, I'm not happy here, something needs to be done. But if it was just a little grumble or something because she'd woken up, and you know, just a little that kind of grumbly sound, I'd just put my hand on her tummy and she'd know that I was there then, and she'd drift back off to sleep. I wouldn't pick her up because I knew that it was just her waking up and trying to get herself back off to sleep. It's like somebody, you kind of waking up but then trying to put yourself back to sleep. If someone came in and picked you up and woke you up even more, you wouldn't like it, would you, really? That's that. I always try to put myself in her shoes and think, right, okay, so I wouldn't really like that if somebody tried to wake me up, tried to pick me up, if I was just trying to put myself back off to sleep. No, I wouldn't like that very much. So I just try and put yourself in baby shoes and try to settle them without picking them up. So after Evie went into her own room, she started sleeping through the night from 3 months old. So we got her into that routine of, right, she's sleeping through the night, this is great, and I'd always take her up to bed, put her in a Moses basket, tuck her in, read a little story for her, and then she'd drift off to sleep, which was great. When she came to sleeping in her own cot, it was a lot bigger, and that meant there was a lot more space, which was great. I can move around in here, and I can do this and I can do that, and there was a lot more to see and do, and a lot more distractions with the size of the bed. So so we took to letting her sleep on us downstairs, and then bringing her up to bed and putting her in her cot. Well, this was great, but then she started to wake around about 2 to 3 hours after we put her down in the cot. She would wake up crying, and we came to the conclusion she's doing this because she's fallen asleep on us downstairs, and now she's waking up and she's like, where the hell am I? Where's Mummy and Daddy? They're not here, and they were here a minute ago before I went off to sleep. So we were like, right, we've got to do something to stop her from missing us when she wakes up. Right, we're going to have to start putting her into the cot before she's asleep. So now we look for the early nose sign. We look for the early tired sign, the red nose. Right, she wants to go to bed. We put her in a grow bag downstairs so she knows it's bedtime. That becomes her thing, that, okay, grow bag's coming out. Oh, I'm getting all snuggly. Oh, lovely. And she gets all excited because it's bedtime then. We put her in that while we're downstairs, and then we'll take her upstairs and say, bye-byes now, baby, bye-byes. And we'll put her down in her cot, and she sleeps face down now in her cot because she can roll quite easily and everything, so it's all good. And we rub her back softly for her, and she drifts off to sleep. And now we don't get a peep out of her at all at night. She doesn't wake up 2 to 3 hours after we've put her down, because she knows that she fell asleep in her cot, and that's where she was when she fell asleep. Mummy and Daddy are in the next room, you know. Absolutely brilliant. Works a treat. It really, really does. So we don't have any of that, you know, waking up, crying, getting upset and all of that, because she knows that she went off to sleep in her cot when Mummy and Daddy put her down to sleep. So yeah, my top tips for a sleeping baby, or a good sleeper baby, is don't pick up, just comfort touch on tummy or back. Don't put too many distractions in the room for them. Remember that it's sleep time, and not to distract their eye or their ear. Let them self-soothe. It's a natural instinct. Don't force them to sleep. Let their own body clock work it out when they want to sleep. I really hope this has helped you. If it hasn't, like I say, don't worry. There's other baby sleep tips out there on some other people's YouTube channels. So what works for my baby might not have worked for yours. Have a look for some other tips if this one doesn't work for you. I would say to persevere as well. That's a key, you know. Persevere with what you're doing. I'm not one for letting my baby scream and cry without going in to see what's wrong with her. I've never done that, and what I have done has worked for me, so I've never had to do that, thankfully. So I don't know how I would feel about it. I don't know if I could do the controlled crying, is that what they call it? But again, there you go. I've never followed any kind of methods. I've just done my own thing. So I hope that it works for you. If it has, please comment in the comment box below and give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.